All right, let's jump right into this. Today, we're stepping into a completely fascinating world that was mapped out thousands of years ago in the Mahabharata. Specifically, we're looking at a discourse by the sage Pulastya. We're going to explore this ancient system where your physical geography translates directly into cosmic salvation. This isn't just about faith. It's essentially a highly detailed spiritual economy where your physical location can literally rewrite your ultimate destiny.
So think about this for a second. How do you wash away a lifetime of sins? It's a pretty heavy question, right? Well, back in ancient times, the answer is usually involved incredibly expensive rituals or, entire lifetimes of intense, austere meditation. But Pulastya's guide offers a totally different approach. It's a highly relatable, high-stakes solution where salvation could literally just be a matter of being in the exact right place at the exact right time, doing the exact right thing. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap through this vast ledger of sacred transactions today. 1. The blueprint of salvation. 2. The pilgrim's protocol. 3. The cosmic currency. 4. Saving 7 generations. 5. The mega tirthas. And finally, 6. The ultimate destination.
Starting with Part 1, The Blueprint of Salvation, Pulastya's Sacred Geography.
So the sage Pulastya is essentially laying out a map of absolute spiritual hotspots for the king. And to really grasp this map, we need to understand its fundamental unit, which is the tirtha. A tirtha is a sacred crossing place or a pilgrimage site where mortal actions yield cosmic merit. Metaphorically speaking, it's like a ford in a river. It's a place where you cross over from the mundane, everyday world of suffering and sin straight into a realm of divine merit and purification. Pulastya's discourse is basically this vast ancient ledger of these tirthas, detailing exactly what kinds of spiritual transactions can take place at each one.
Moving on to Part 2, The Pilgrim's Protocol, Rules of the Road.
Now, as we see in the text, you can't just show up to these spots like a tourist and expect a massive cosmic payout, right? The text lays out a very rigorous physical and mental protocol for pilgrims. Step 1. You absolutely must arrive with subdued senses. This is crucial. It's an internal journey just as much as an external one. Step 2 involves strict physical purification, so bathing in specific waters and fasting, often for 1 to 3 nights. Step 3 requires active worship of the gods and the pitris, which are your revered ancestors. Only after you've provided those inputs do we reach Step 4, where the pilgrim can finally claim that astronomical cosmic merit. And this brilliantly illustrates how the protocol actually works as a massive spiritual multiplier. Take the tirtha of Sakamvari, for instance. The text tells this incredibly vivid story of a goddess who lived solely on herbs for 1,000 celestial years right at this spot. But for a human pilgrim, if you arrive with rapt attention, live purely, and eat only herbs for just 3 nights, the goddess grants you the exact same merit as someone who lived on that diet for 12 entire years. Talk about a massive return on a localized short-term investment.
All right, Part 3, The Cosmic Currency, Trading Baths for Merit.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer exchange rate of this economy, because it completely democratized these impossibly elite spiritual rituals. Take the Saraswati anthill. The text literally says if you bathe in the water issuing from this specific anthill and worship, you get the merit of a horse sacrifice. In ancient times, a horse sacrifice was an ultra-exclusive, insanely expensive ritual reserved only for the absolute most powerful kings. But here, a bath gets you the exact same cosmic credit. Or look at Dhanuka. You bathe in the ancient hoofprints of a legendary cow and her calf, and the reward is ascending to the region of Soma. A simple sojourn to Jnanapavana? You get the merit of the Agnishtoma sacrifice. The text is showing us a world where these elite cosmic rewards are accessible to anyone who's just willing to make the journey. And get this, it wasn't just mortals playing in this economy. This dynamic peaks at the tirtha of Suvarna. We get this dramatic dialogue from the text where Rudra, also known as Mahadeva, is speaking directly to Vishnu, who is referred to here as Krishna. The text states that in days of old, Vishnu himself had to visit this tirtha and pay adorations to Rudra just to obtain boons that are difficult for even gods to acquire. If the ultimate deities had to engage in this geographical merit system to earn their status, you can imagine how important it was for ordinary humans.
Which brings us to Part 4, Saving 7 Generations, the generational impact.
Because this whole spiritual economy, it wasn't just about saving yourself. The crucial point here is the scale of the rewards. On an individual level, sure, we see highly desirable, localized perks. A bath at Sandarika grants you immense personal beauty. A visit to Kokamuka allows you to recall your past lives. But compare that to the premium tirthas, places like Naimisha or Gaia, where the rewards are these exponential generational bailouts.
By staying at Gaia during specific lunar phases, a pilgrim sanctifies their family line 7 generations into the past and 7 generations into the future. It really makes you wonder, what would you be willing to endure to guarantee happiness and salvation for 14 entire generations of your family?
Part 5. The Mega Tirthas, Ultimate Power Centers.
Now we're moving into the real high-stakes territory in Pulastya's guide, 10 million. According to the text, that is the exact number of tirthas that are stacked together in one single location called Soma. The mythology here is incredible. A wicked asura actually took the shape of a massive tortoise and tried to carry all 10 million of these tirthas away, at least until the powerful god Vishnu intervened and recovered them. Bathing in this one concentrated power center grants you the merit of the highest sacrifices and direct ascension to Vishnu's realm. The scale of this spiritual geography is simply mind-boggling.
And as you read through the text about these mega tirthas, there's this constant, almost a rhythmic repetition. Over and over, Pulastya promises the merit of the horse sacrifice, the Vajapeya, the Rajasuya, the Agnishtoma. Remember, these were the grandest, most resource-intensive royal ceremonies in the ancient world. They were completely out of reach for a normal person. But this spiritual economy completely bypassed the need for extreme wealth. It democratized divine grace. The physical journey and the sincerity of the pilgrim's vows leveled the playing field, making the absolute highest tiers of heaven accessible to the devoted.
Finally, Part 6. The Ultimate Destination, Beyond the Mortal Coil.
So we're at the absolute climax of Pulastya's guide now, where the transactions become final. At certain ultimate tirthas, pilgrims weren't just washing away their sins so they could go back home, they were making their final exit. The text states that a person who renounces their life by fasting at the sacred woods of Naimisha enjoys direct, guaranteed happiness in the heavenly regions. Even more incredibly, at the tirtha of Gopradra on the river Saryu, the grace is so incredibly potent that the legendary figure Rama was said to have ascended to heaven not just with his attendants, but with all of his animals. The location itself holds such immense efficacy that it overrides earthly limitations entirely. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. But I want to leave you with a question. In examining this vast, intricate spiritual economy, we see exactly what ancient people were willing to trade: their comfort, their time, even their very lives, for a guaranteed place in eternity. Today, well, we might not bathe in anthills or fast for 3 nights on herbs, but we still absolutely search for our own versions of legacy, peace, and ultimate meaning. So what is the modern equivalent of a tirtha for you? And what would you be willing to trade to secure your own peace of mind? Think about it. Thanks for hanging out and exploring Pulastya's sacred geography with me today.